Welcome back to the Cricket Show, and here's what's coming up on this episode. We start things off with a recent roundup where we cover all the recent action, including Sri Lanka's Test Series win against New Zealand, the Australia-England white ball series, and India's exploits against Bangladesh, both with white ball and with red. After the recent roundup, we move on to our quiz segment, FIFER yet again, and then we finish things off with Who's That Player? Stay tuned till the very end so you can see who leads the pack in FIFER and who tops the scoreboard. But now, let's get straight to the action. So here's your recent roundup then, and we'll start off with international cricket action. Sri Lanka won the second test versus New Zealand by an innings and 154 runs to claim the series 2-0 and keep themselves in World Test Championship contention. Man of the match, KAMINDU Mendes continued his fine form with 182 not outs, with centuries from Dinesh Chandimal and Kusal Mendes as well. KAMINDU finished the two-match series with 309 at an average of 154.5, with spinner Prabhat Jayasuriya claiming 18 wickets. Over in England, Australia won the final match of their ODI series by 49 runs via Duckworth-Lewis, and in doing so, won the series 3-2. England showed great resolve to recover from 2-0 down early in the series to level things up, before the rain, combined with some quality batting from Matthew Short, who made 58 of 30, and Travis Head's fine figures of 4 for 28, proved to be too much to overcome. Now, of course, England have moved on to their tour of Pakistan, with the first test starting earlier today in Multan. A little bit south in the subcontinent, and Bangladesh's tour of India continues with a T20 series. In the first match, the hosts had their touring neighbours in all sorts of trouble early on, with Arshdeep Singh getting both openers out in the first 3 overs. Bangladeshi captain Najmul Hossain Shanto scored 27 of 25, with wickets flying left, right and centre at the other end. Mehdi Hassan Miraz was the only other key contributor with 35 of 32. In reply, Sanju Samson started things off with a quick-fire 29 of 19 and was backed up by 29 of 14 from Surya Kumar Yadav and a blistering 39 of 16 from Hardik Pandya. India now lead that series 1-0 after chasing Bangladesh's total of 127 in just 11.5 overs to win by 7 wickets with 49 balls remaining. Of course, this fine start from India in the T20 series follows on from a T20-inspired test win that saw India walk away 2-0 winners of the series. India's score of 285 for 9 before declaring in just 34.4 overs saw them set a new record for the highest run rate in a test. 7.36 that was, surpassing South Africa's record of 6.8 from a 2005 test against Zimbabwe. They also set records for the fastest 50, 100, 150, 200 and 250 in a single innings. On an individual level, Yashasvi Jaiswal now has the most 50-plus scores in a calendar year on Indian soil, with 8 such scores in 2024 and 901 runs in total, the third highest ever for a batter in India. In women's cricket action then, the T20 World Cup is now well underway. At this early stage, both pools are still completely open, with no clear leaders. 8 players sit joint top of the wicket-takers pile with 4 apiece, with Rosemary Mayer and Nonkululeko Mlaba given the default lead due to their better economies. Bangladeshi Sobhana Mostri leads the run charts with 80 from her 2 innings, while South African Laura Wolfhard and New Zealand's Sophie Devine sit on 59 and 57 respectively after just 1 innings each. In domestic cricket action then, we begin with the revitalized Cricket South Africa T20 Challenge. The Northwest Dragons lead the standings with 3 straight wins, with the Dolphins unable to register a single point. Knights bowler Malusi Siboto leads the wicket charts with 8 so far, whilst Donovan Ferreira tops the run scorers with 147 at an average of 73.5. Teenage sensation Lhuan-dre Pretorius is close in second with 144 after his belligerent knock of 82 in just 43 balls against the Lions. The 18-year-old, still in high school, has been touted to be a future Proteas wicketkeeper batsman. Over to the Caribbean, and now of course the CPL has come to a close, with the St. Lucia Kings defeating the Guyana Amazon Warriors by 6 wickets earlier today in that final. Not the most feisty of affairs, truth be told, but Noor Ahmed starred with the ball, grabbing 3 for 19 in his 4 overs, whilst the 88-run partnership between Roston Chase and T20 World Cup star Aaron Jones ensured the Kings lifted their maiden CPL title. Now, with so much cricket going on, there's lots for us to chat about. So let's see what the lads made of some of the recent action. So back to the full house, and I'm just going to throw this out there. What did you guys make of the white ball series between Australia and England?
I watched bits and pieces of you know, the games, and I think I expected what I saw was what I expected. Some going very hard all of the time. A couple of collapses, and the one that stands out for me was the last game where Brook and Duckett were going well, and England collapsed. Yeah, they eventually got to 300, but under further scrutiny, Adil Rashid, the last man, made 36 of those runs. Um, yeah, and then Australia chased that as well. I think we touched on it that they were going guns blazing in the beginning, 70 some odd of the first 7 overs. So we all know that this type of cricket works. It's very nice. It's very attractive. But when it doesn't work, then you get collapses. And unfortunately, that was my summation of the series.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was good that it went down to the last match after Australia took a 2-0 lead. So at least England pulled it back. It's a pity the last match was rain affected because okay, but Australia were flying. I think they would have won that game anyway. But yeah, it was an exciting series. As a viewer, there were some good batting performances. Bowlers bringing the game back. And it goes on to what we touched last week that in a 50 over game, you can have ebbs and flows, but a team has a chance to pull the game back. Whereas in a T20, if the guys are flying, it's very hard to pull them back. It needs like a massive collapse. So the ebbs and flows of 50 over cricket is good, and I enjoy it. So it was a good advocate for ODI cricket this series.
Yeah, I agree with Kuv. I think we just got so used to T20 cricket where, just go and have a go and don't have time to build an innings. And batsmen that are power hitters are sort of more coveted than your proper cricketers. I think, in this series, especially Marnus's innings, I think it was in the second game with Australia chasing, it showed that, proper cricket is still valuable in this format and gives guys opportunities to sort of build an innings rather than just smash everything that they can find. So it was good to see. I think it was a nice change from the white ball stuff that we normally see, which is generally the T20 stuff these days. And it shows that the 50 over game is still alive. I think it's a format that will probably never die from an ICC perspective because they make so much money from their tournaments, especially the World Cup. So I think we'll see a lot more. Um, Yeah, they did. It was good. I think maybe there could be a bit more innovation. I think one thing about the 50 over game is that maybe we can bring back that batting power play. I thought that was a very exciting part of the game back in the day. Because it not just worked for the batting team, but it kind of brought the bowlers back into it. Because if the batting team was going, they'll take the batting power play and end up losing 2 or 3 wickets, and then they'll have to consolidate after that. So it was, maybe a bit more innovation, but yeah, good to see all in all. Great series.
Harry Brook as captain of England, how did we think he did in his first proper hard series?
Yeah, I think Harry Brook brought a sort of fresh perspective. I remember one of his fielding positions for, I think it was Cameron Green, and he had almost like a very straight, short mid on for a couple of balls. And then I think the third ball over, Cameron Green smashed it straight to him. I thought that was very interesting. I think it was great, innovative captaincy, and he did score a lot of runs in the series as well. So, look, he's definitely a cricketer for the future and someone to watch. And it's good to see that when given the responsibility, he performs in the day.
Yeah, no, it was definitely very good to see that even though he had the responsibility, it didn't really affect his individual batting. Because normally, sometimes when people are given the captaincy, their individual form takes a dip. And hopefully, he can keep it going. Hopefully, the captaincy doesn't weigh too much on his shoulders and he still excels at the rate that he is. Because I think we all know that if he continues in this vein, he's going to be a world beater.
That was my takeout too. I remember seeing Harry Brook come in the early days, and he was a good T20 player. There's a lot of talk about him, a lot of hype. And then he sort of failed on the T20 stage. But it was nice to see that Harry Brook has actually become Harry Brook from the Test scene now. He's cemented his spot in the Test side. And now I could argue that, he's also cemented his spot in the one-day side. So yeah, happy to see him do well because he's a great player.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we have touched on it a little while ago. I think during our chat in the T20 World Cup, and we were all saying Harry Brook is class, just sheer class. And I see him do well as a captain. I know Australia did take the series, but onwards and upwards for him, and it'll be good to see.
Kenneth, I have a question for you guys. Do you think this exhibition of 50 over cricket was only good and reminded us what it could be because the teams were so evenly matched? And if it was England versus Sri Lanka or Bangladesh in an ODI series where there's a risk that the 20 over tempo can be kept up for 50 overs and then it's a one-sided match at the end of the day, and then we as fans are just watching an extended version of T20, which is
No,
kind of boring.
I have a strong opinion on this. So going back on the first point I said, it is a very high tempo way or manner to play a 50 over game. Both these teams did the same thing, and both of them showed collapses along the way. Now, what we can expect going into the future is exactly what you're pointing to, Kuv, where England can go on a batting friendly pitch and try and aim for 400 and get bowled out for 300, and then a team like Sri Lanka who runs their singles well, or even Bangladesh, can come and chase that down easily because batsmen know that they don't want to hit 10 sixes in one innings, but all they have to do is aim for a run a ball. So I think we're going to get a lot more of that, a lot more exciting stuff where Australia and England sort of mess it up by going a bit too hard, and the teams that just get their basics right in the 50 over format can come and pull, what do you want to call it, shockers or cause upsets.
Yeah, but if it works and they come out firing and they can maintain it, how far do you think we are
Yeah,
away
but
from a 500
Yeah,
score?
yeah, but, but,
Maintaining
but I
I
mean,
was about to
10
say.
runs in over 50
for
overs.
what? I mean, look, if you're going to score 500 against Ireland, or even if you're going to do it against Sri Lanka for one match, I mean, my argument is, what's the point, right? If you
Exactly.
consistently scoring 360 or 370, I'd rather take that because that's a match-winning score rather than one 500 and then three, 280s.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but that's exactly the debate. So
Yeah, I think for me, yeah, I agree with Kuv. I think in the 50 over games, you're probably going to see a lot more one sided games rather than the T20. I think when the shorter format or shortened formats of the game, it brings all the weaker teams closer to your stronger teams because in those sort of instances, one or two good performances from a couple of your players, and you'll be in the game if not win it. Whereas in the 50 over, you got to perform well for a longer period of time. More guys have to put their hands up and contribute. And I think Kuv's right in that sense. If it's not England, Australia, India, I mean, we're looking at the South African team at the moment. I don't think they can compete against these guys at all. I think if it's not those three top teams playing against each other, we're going to see some really one-sided results.
I can agree myself. I mean, it's a good toss up seeing interesting cricket between two very good teams. But I agree if there's a mismatch between the quality of the sides, yeah, it might end up with a few 500s here and there. But once they come up against bigger teams yet again, I think you're going to see exactly what happened in this England Australia series. A bunch of games where one team was bowled out within 40 overs, 35. 37. It's been like that pretty much the whole series. Now, where things have been different but still hella interesting, New Zealand, Sri Lanka. What on earth happened there? A 600 score from Sri Lanka. Who would have thought? And they played excellently to win that test. What do we think?
I saw some weird stat the other day also that since this World Test Championship has become a thing, New Zealand haven't won away as yet, which was weird for me. So I don't know how true that is, but I think Sri Lanka got the basics right. They're not trying anything flamboyant. I know, Pathum Nissanka now is going for it, but they run their singles well. They bowl in the right areas and not going for the 500. Happy with 370.
yeah, but I also think like that performance further emphasizes the gap between these top three and the rest of the nations. Because when Sri Lanka played England, we all sat back and we said, listen, Sri Lanka actually batted well. They played well throughout the series. But now they go and play against New Zealand and they look like another level because the level of New Zealand is not as high as the level of England. And these are the results that you can get from that. So I wasn't totally surprised. Obviously, 600 plus obviously is a surprise, but I wasn't surprised at how well they played. I mean, throughout that England series, Kamindu Mendes, he batted
Yeah.
brilliantly. And now coming up against lesser opposition, what he made against England was 80s, 90s, small 100 maybe. Now becomes a 182. What was it?
Yeah, 182.
And then the rest of the batsmen batted around him. There were like 300s in that innings.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kuv. It's not surprising. I think Sri Lanka, I think, have always been a dominant
Yeah.
team.
That's the point for me, because if
Yeah,
I'm looking at the scorecard, Glenn Phillips, I mean, spinners are going to do well, but Glenn Phillips taking because he's not an out and out spinner, right?
no, I agree.
Sri Lanka and England were going to be a different Sri Lanka than Sri Lanka and Sri Lanka.
Exactly, yeah. So I agree with Kuv in terms of I'm not surprised Sri Lanka played well in the series. But I think where maybe it's not the differences in the sides, I think it's just the differences in the way teams tour these days. I think in your home matches you dominate, in away matches you get spanked. It just feels that kind of it's going that kind of way. Especially now with the World Test Championships, you don't want to drop any points at home. So you set it up exactly, you know, suited to your players, and it becomes, almost a survival for the opposition team. They're sometimes not able to compete. But in saying that, Sri Lanka still had to go out there and perform, and they did, and they continued their form from England. And Kamindu Mendes, a brilliant cricketer. What is he? Third fastest to 1,000 runs or something in Test cricket,
Yeah.
and he's looking good. He's a good cricketer, young guy. Hopefully, and he hasn't just scored it here in Sri Lanka. He did bat well in England as well, so he can do it across different conditions. So that's a great thing for Sri Lanka and Sri Lankan cricket, and it's
Are
good
you
to see.
surprised how low he actually bats with that record?
That's fair. Yeah, that is fair. But look, I mean, if you want to protect him from the new ball, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I mean, you've got Angelo Matthews above him that, is a seasoned cricketer, averages nearly 50 in Test cricket. You've got Dinesh Chandimal's batted well over the years, got 100 in the last game as well. Batted well in England. So look, that's not a there's not bad guys, in front of you. And he's still young. I think, when
Yeah.
Ricky Ponting started playing in the Australian side, he batted at 6, and he was going to be the next great thing. And they still, you just got to work your way into the game. And I think they're doing a good thing by not just throwing him at the deep end. I think a lot of teams around the world see a great player, and then they just say, well, he's good at domestic level. He's good when he was under 19. He's going to be brilliant when he plays international cricket. It just doesn't work out because they just throw him into the deep end. So at least they, sort of sort of give him a couple of games to go, and then I'm sure in the future he'll bat much higher.
No, I agree. I think he definitely will over time mold into a top order batsman that is absolutely class, because all he's shown us so far has been pretty class in that England series, and again now he's doing really well. I think going forward he's probably going to be up there with Harry Brook and a few others, maybe Rachin Ravindra as part of a new Fab Four. We'll see if it holds true. Now, talking about a new Fab Four, Yashasvi Jaiswal led India's team against Bangladesh in their own baseball. They're starting to call it GAUTIBALL. That was a fantastic couple of knocks there. Very, very hard cricket to win that test against Bangladesh. What do we think?
Yeah, happy for the kid. Been a big fan of Jaiswal in the T20 scene. He's got a spot on the one-day side. Nice to see him do good things in a test match, but it makes us laugh, I'm sure, like many of the people that are watching. This is not test cricket. And then maybe another takeout for me is KL Rahul. I don't know, for lovers of classical cricket, he has a soft spot in many people's heart, and he made a score here, so that's nice to see.
Yeah, for all those people that said KL bats too slow, I think he came out and just made a little statement there. 68 or 43 in a test. Okay, India did play the situation, and I'll give them that. So, as much as we said it's a bit of a laugh, it is because how on earth do you score 285 in 34 overs of a test match? Absolutely crazy, that first innings. But yeah, I mean, you play the situation. I think a lot of Indian fans will point out that unlike baseball, where it seems to be always gung ho, they don't usually do this. In all honesty, India don't play. They play fairly aggressive Test cricket, but not at anywhere near this rate. So interesting to see. I mean, Bangladesh have been thoroughly whooped in this one, and I think Indian cricket is just in a great place. The rest of us are at a complete loss here.
Yeah, but it's it's good to see is that aggressive mindset from India. I mean, it would have been easy just to say with all the rain around and all the missing play, just let's shut up shop, bat as long as we want, score 600, and then give ourselves 20 overs to bowl these guys out and not do it. So it's good to see that they took up the challenge and went for the win rather than. I mean, we've seen it over the years. I mean, we lose that
Yeah,
much play in a test match. Guys just go out there and just go through the motions and just wait for
yeah.
the draw. So it was good. It was good to see. They've got the players to do it, and it's good to see them executing.
Yeah, and also Boymom, you speak about, them playing the situation. If you go back to the first test match, I mean,
Oh,
they
when
were in shambles.
Maple came and made
Yeah.
100, don't pull it
So
on up.
they played that situation to perfection as well. I mean, they were struggling, and then there, Ravichandran Ashwin 100, Jadu scores some runs. So they just always seem to find a way.
Yeah, that
I
was
mean,
amazing. That was crazy to see. It was so nice to see Jadu and Ashwin just save India. Yeah.
But Ashwin is an unbelievable cricketer. I mean, how many tests? He's got what, like 7 test hundreds or something like that. That's insane. That's
That's why we call him the
he's a great
Maple.
cricketer.
yeah, it's six test hundreds. But yeah, you're absolutely right. He's, the thing is, I used to hate Ravichandran Ashwin mainly because he always gave South Africa a really hard time. And as crap as we are at playing spin, playing him is almost a different level.
No, and his
Repeatedly,
bank
as
had events, man, with
yeah, I mean,
India and stuff,
all of those things are almost by the way for the reasons that I disliked him so much. But over the years, he's just shown repeatedly that he's a proper cricketer. And he's a proper thinking cricketer. The guy is an absolute brain when it comes to cricket and off field as well. If you listen to him speak, including on his own cricket show that he has on the same platform on YouTube as well, yeah, we're competing with the likes of Ravi Ashwin while talking about him. But yeah,
Oh,
no,
try and get him on the podcast, here,
Get
man.
him on the
yeah.
podcast,
If
man.
if
Get him
if
in there.
if if one day you listen, I know that you've started out a new one in Hindi now. You speak perfect English. Pop in here to tell us your thoughts, share the knowledge we really want to know from the Maple himself. So, yeah, no, recent cricket events have been great. But now we're going to jump straight back into all the games and see what we can do with the leaderboards. We'll start off with FIFER. So, Quinton de Kock has been absolutely killing it in the CPL. But if we switch things up to international cricket, I have a quick question for you as today's non-FIFER question. How many career fours does Quinton de Kock have in T20 internationals? Now, as per the leaderboard that you would have just seen, Divi is the new leader in FIFER, so he will give us the first answer.
321.
Cool. Divi goes 321. Kums next.
450.
450 from Kums. And Kuv there.
385.
So the winner is Divi. The actual correct answer is 264. So Divi will go first, then Kuv, and Kums last. You're setting a bit of a trend here. So the easiest question of the day, then, starting off with Divi. Can you name the batsmen that were the fastest to 9,000 runs in tests?
Fastest 9,000. Okay. Let's go with Sachin.
Sachin Tendulkar is not up there. He is number 7.
Fastest 9,000. Let's go with, so it has to be guys with high averages, I reckon. Then. Let's go with Kumar Sangakkara.
Ding ding. Number 1, Kumar Sangakkara.
Then let's go with Jacques Hollis.
Jacques Cullis is not it. He is number 9. That's your second bouncer.
Wow. Okay. Kane Williamson.
That is your third bouncer, not it. I think Kane hasn't gotten to 9,000 yet. The first steal then will go to Kuv.
I'm gonna try Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli is not it. Over to Kums then.
Wow. Virat Kohli is not it? Rohit Sharma?
Rohit Sharma is not it either. I don't think he's got to 9,000 test runs either. What on earth has happened today, boys? So,
Redmond.
this was
That
a bit of a mess. I'm going to give you the top 5 in reverse order. Number 5, Ricky Ponting, ding ding. That would have been 177 innings. Number 4, Brian Lara, also in 177 innings. Number 3, Rahul Dravid in 176 innings. Number 2, Steve Smith in 174 innings. And your top man, Kumar Sangakkara, did it in 172 innings.
I'd never guessed Dravid and Smith there.
So for Kuf, the medium question, I don't know if I should actually call this a medium question because the previous, the easy question, went absolutely pear-shaped. But anyway, can you name the top 5 players that were batting when the most runs in an over were scored in tests?
I know Bumrah is one. Yeah.
Bumrah, ding ding,
Bumrah
number
was
1.
Oh shit, I can't remember anyone else. I just remember that because that's probably like the freshest one.
Yeah, it is.
David Warner.
David Warner is not it. That's your first answer.
Chris Gayle. No?
Chris Gayle is not it as well. That's the second answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And your answer
Joe
is?
Root.
Joe Root is not it as well. Unlucky. This wasn't the easiest question, as I did say. First steal then to Divi.
I'm going to go Brian Lara.
Brian Lara is number 2, ding ding, with 28 runs in an over. We'll come to Kums next.
I know Bumrah did it to Broad, but something is telling me Broad did it to someone. So Stuart Broad?
Not Stuart Broad. I think he is somewhere lower down the list, but not above 25. So that wasn't it. Now, let us give you the 5. In reverse order, they were. There was actually a tie for 5th, and I was prepared to give you the tie. Harry Brook, 27 in an over. Tied with Shahid Afridi, also 27. Keshav Miraj, 28 in an over. George Bailey, 28 in an over. Brian Lara, and then Jasprit Bumrah on top with 35 in that over against Stuart Broad.
Keshav can't even take a single.
Who did we do that 27 on? Because I remember the Brian Lara one. That was
Joe
against South
Root. Joe Root. He did it to Joe Root. Yeah. All
I
right.
remember the Brian Lara one because that was against South Africa. It was the last over of the day. I think Robin Peterson was bowling, and he f***ing went nuts.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. It was Robin Peterson against South Africa in Johannesburg. Yeah, brilliant memory there. Okay, let's move on to the hardest of the lot, and that is for Kums. Can you name the top 5 outfielders with the most catches in their careers in ODIs?
Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli is number 4, ding ding.
Sanat Jayasuriya.
Not it.
Mahela Jayawardene.
Mahela Jayawardene is number 1, ding ding.
Ricky Ponting.
Jesus Christ. Ricky Ponting is number 2, ding ding. How on earth? You've gotten 1 bouncer so far.
Arvinder De Silva.
Not it. That's your second bouncer.
Then I'm going to try Sachin Tendulkar.
That's number 6. Very close. First steal then, Divi.
I'm going to go Rahul Dravid.
Rahul Dravid is not it. He kept for a lot of his career, so
I was gonna say, yeah.
I'm gonna try Shock colors.
Carlos not it either. Is like number 8. So I'm so surprised that you actually got 3 there. What the actual? The missing names then. Number 5, Ross Taylor with 142. Number 4 was Virat Kohli with 152. Number 3, Mohammad Azharuddin with 156. Number 2, Ricky Ponting with 160. And Mahela right up top with 218 catches. So the FIFER leaderboard has been hotting up. It's still so tight, and there's been a bit of a shift here, as you can see on screen. Now, hopefully, in the weeks to come, Kuv will get a bit more into that race up top. He's been doing better in recent times, but today was a bit of a rough one. Anyway, let's jump now from FIFER to Who's That Player. So if you don't know how the rules work for Who's That Player, pop over to the video above one of our heads. You can head over to the Who's That Player segment there and see the rules for yourself. So today, for the order of who's going to pick first, we're going to go from the bottom of our scoreboard to the top. So we're going to start off with Kums, since he had an absolute mare in the last one. We'll then move on to Kuv, and then Divi will go last. And your first statement is, I was once amongst the most exciting batsmen on the scene and have 10,290 ODI runs for my country. A country that boasts some of the finest ever top order batsmen. Who am I?
Kumar Sankara.
Not it. Kov next.
Let's stick with the same country. Let's go JAISWAL.
Not Jay. We'll come to Divi then.
Brian Lara.
So the second statement then. I played for the Delhi Daredevils, Surrey, Guyana Amazon Warriors, and Karachi Kings amongst other teams, and was player of the series at the 2009 World T20.
Wow. David Warner?
Not it. Kuv then.
Dilshan.
Ding, 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 ding. That is your man, Tilakaratne Dilshan. The third statement, if you were willing to listen that long, was I perfected one of the most audacious shots in cricket history, and now it is named after me. But anyway, Kuv walks away with 2 points there. Now we only have 2 today, and the second of the lot is. So the second question, and I'm assuming this is going to be quite that bit harder. I am a former Protea and have a total of 100 test wickets and 96 ODI wickets, to go with my 1,312 test runs and 1,414 ODI runs. Who am I?
Bernard Verlander.
That is not it. Kuv then.
Andile Peshlokoy.
It's definitely not Andile. Sorry.
I don't know, there's so many.
Can we all take a moment to laugh at this? Andile Peshlokoy. What on earth? That was quality, Kuv. I'll give you an extra point in my mind for being funny today.
Test wickets.
We're going to go with the DV next.
I'm going to go Nicky Boyer.
Woo! Bong, bong, bong. What the actual? How did you pull that off? It was, in fact, Nicky Boyer.
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding. I am absolutely shocked.
I still got
You pulled that out.
Still got 0.
It was
Still
either
last.
him or Paul
Still
Harris
got the
because
point.
there's not really that many odds that 100 test wickets.
Nee, bro.
I think you might actually be a pro at this.
Yeah.
That was the first statement, and you banged that one. The next statement was I schooled at Grey College, and it was here that I changed from an opening bowler to slow left arm orthodox. That would have probably given you a bit more. And then we ended off with, in my last ever test in 2006, I bowled alongside Dale Steyn, Mackay Antini, Sean Pollock, and Andrew Hall. Just to refresh the memory, I'm pretty sure you would have thought enough to realize it was a spinner that played in that era.
Hey, bro, I wrote you off. Seriously.
So the scoreboard is on the screen again, and Divi keeps romping away here. Kuv got 2 points today, Divi with 3, and Kums yet again with a mare, a duck. What on earth? You got to go first today. Can you explain? We'll give you 30 seconds to explain, and maybe we'll consider giving you a bonus point for that, because otherwise I don't see how you're going to score any.
It's like opening the batting, you know. Sometimes form is temporary, class is permanent. You gotta give me more time. This is the second time. This is the second time I've got 2 ducks. Right, so I'm gonna come with a 150 next time.
We'll give you that was a good one. But I hope I hope that you guys have enjoyed this one. Now, we'll include more non-FIFER games in the next episode just to get this one moving. But if you did enjoy this episode, drop us a like, hit the subscribe button, catch us on all the audio platforms. There's also the Proteas chat going on where Kuv and I covered the South Africa series with Ireland, and you can find all our thoughts there. It's a little bit long, about 34 minutes or so, but we harp on about all the South African cricket madness. Now, until the next one, please take care. Maybe don't pour a shot, but definitely make yourself a cup of tea.